So the good news is gun violence is down in Montreal and significantly as well. The figure is 30% this summer as compared to last. David Shane, inspector at the SPVM. Yeah, who would have thought this was the case?
Didn't see that coming at all, yeah.
David Shane, inspector at the SPVM, calling in. He's on the line right now. Mr. Shane, thanks so much for your time today.
Well, it's my pleasure.
So the first thing, we both reacted the same way, which was, wow, we didn't see this coming. We've heard so much about the issues with gun violence, and we've had Fatty Daguerre on the show a couple of times as well. I know there were initiatives that the police had tried. They obviously seem to be working. So what have you done?
Well, the first thing is this is the results of a lot of efforts, not only with the SPVM, but also with community workers, all levels of governments, other partners. But actually, we've seen this the start of this decrease at the end of 2022, the very end, around December. And this trend, we saw this trend going on January and going through the months. When we reported in April and in June, we had that decrease of 30%. But we were very guarded just to make sure that during the summertime all goes well, and we're very happy to announce that this is actually a trend, and we hope to make it through the end of the year with the same minus 30% in gun violence.
So let me ask you, when you talk about community involvement, and I know that's been a big part of the change you hope to get, and obviously it's working here, what does that mean? Who's been on the ground? What have you been doing?
Well, first off, every neighborhood station, neighborhood police station, connects with their communities, and the commander is the first responsible for that. He has some police officers that manage this networking, and so we're always involved, on the ground. But we also have some specialized units that, like ECCR, we say in French, l'équipe de concertation communautaire and de rapprochement. And when we have incidents of gun violence as well, we hit the ground, we go knocking on doors to reassure people, to talk with them, to hear their concerns, and to get the investigations moving forward.
So let's talk specific numbers for a quick moment. So fewer murders, 5 instead of 8 over the summer. Fewer attempted murders, 13 instead of 20 involving firearms. But then I see that the arrest numbers are pretty high. So 133 arrests in connection with firearms, 258 seized weapons. Does one lead to the other?
Well, what I would tell you is that, first off, that's what we would think, and it's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's a good thing to increase the number of arrests and seizures. But the turning point for us came at the end of April when we had our strategy evolve, the strategy of tackling gun violence, and we started using principles that are recognized in criminology, like, how do you call it? Sorry, I'm trying to translate at the same time, but targeted deterrence. And intelligence-led operations. So we put together a way of working with our teams that really at the ground level, and having investigators, criminal investigators sitting with specialists in prevention, and civilian employees who have expertise in community outreach, and intelligence officers, and they'll sit around. Imagine a table with these people, these experts around, and they'll look at a list of individuals, and they'll try and figure out who are those more at risk to shoot a gun in our streets. And then once they identify those persons, then they come up with a plan to try and dissuade them from doing so. So it could be on one part, it could be through investigation, it could be through surveillance and different, like going to meet that person to tell them that we're looking at you and looking at what you're doing, and we discourage you of doing anything. But on the other side, I can give you, for example, one success story where we looked at prevention, and we had a youth, a juvenile, who'd been arrested recently for gang-related infractions. And we went to meet that person, that youth, and the youth actually raised his hand and said, I'm trying to get out of this, but I can't make it. And we said, okay, well, let us help you. And so we contacted his parents, we arranged a meeting, we had a police officer, we call it agent de concertation, with a criminal investigator, and with the parents and with the kid, we planned how we can help him get out, and it worked.
Wow.
The youth cut off his criminal network, and now is planning to go back to school. So we're keeping in touch. I'm not saying it's always like this, but that's what we want to do. We want to help youth extract from that criminal environment, and when it's not possible and you have those hardcore criminals, then we need to conduct investigations.
Can I ask, because this sounds like obviously it's a success story, in theory, but in practice it's turned out that way as well. When did all this begin to change and how police carried out these sorts of things? Has this been a matter of months, years? When did this happen?
Well, I'd say that these types of situations, they occurred in the last years. It's not like we didn't do it. I think that what evolved is actually, top down, asking our people to work this way and enabling them for this type of success. And giving them the time and organizing them in a more fluid fashion, not just like a paramilitary unit with a boss and all, trying to work as a network and bringing all the expertise around the table to contribute. Because you know what? The indicator of success, the best one, it's not the number of arrests, it's not the number of seized guns, it's the absence of violence or the reduction of violence. And so that's what we shifted at the Montreal Police to try and aim for that type of result and that type of success.
I find this, really exciting to hear. I can only imagine what it must feel like for you guys doing the groundwork. Inspector Shane, there's been an issue with recruitment. I know that's been a big question. You've been trying to get more people to come and work for the police squad. Do you think this will help?
Well, I think it will. Obviously, when recruits join a police force, each of them have motivation. Usually, it all comes down to helping others, making a difference. But then the way you express it, in a police department like Montreal, you have over 150 different functions that you can have, different jobs. And so some might be prevention, some might be investigations, others want to be supervisors, others want to be in the SWAT team, bicycle patrol. And so you have all these different types of jobs you can hold. So I think it's very motivating. It was for me 28 years ago, and I think it is still motivating for our recruits to look at it and to see through the media, through everything we do that, the Montreal Police is the place I want to be to make a difference.
Well, you are making a difference, and it's there. It's in the numbers. So hats off on that. Congratulations for that job. That's something we can all appreciate. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Anytime.
David Shane, Inspector over at the SPVM.
I did not expect that to be such a feel-good story. I'm really taken aback in the best possible way.